Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was, and what a beautiful day it was out here today. And anyway, I just always am going to inspire you to get, come on out of your house, out of your car. Come out and get out in nature, find a place to go, where you can bring your family or even go by yourself. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below, beep, beep, beep. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say hi to Starlight. Yeah, don't be afraid. And thank you, all of you out there that have been leaving Starlight comments or even giving me a thumbs up, watching my videos, even sharing my videos. And also, you could share my videos with your family, your friends. A bee. Starlight might be able to put this on there. I had a bee visit me. It's a bee in me. A bee visited me today. So because the birds and the bees. So I'm gonna say another bird today, but I had it backwards. So you could share my videos with a bird. They would love to watch Starlight's videos. So besides that, you can also check out my playlist, and don't forget my notification bell. And also, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So I have to say, I'm always, everywhere I go, I'm always looking for a new topic for a video. I kind of feel like a news reporter, they're always looking for the next new thing to, put on the news. But for Starlight, everywhere she goes, I'm always studying people. I've been like that my whole life. And yesterday, which was really beautiful, is I went for a hike, and I went to go, and I was going to actually meditate and make a video and eat my lunch, but I wasn't able to do all of those things that I wanted to do, but I was able to eat my lunch. And a lady that was nearby, because it was a big, long, cement picnic table, with seats, and this lady asked if she could join, sit there, because it wasn't in the sun. It was kind of part shade and part sun. And I said, yes, of course. So Starlight was actually starting to eat her peanut butter sandwich with nuts and honey. Yum. And I had some grapes and a small apple. And as I was sitting there, I overheard her talking to the guy that she was with. And, she wasn't feeling that well. She wasn't feeling ready to drive. She felt weak and stuff. So Starlight is always feeding people. So I had these delicious grapes and this small little, it would have been an apple, great for little kids, so they don't waste this big, huge apple. It was a small little red apple. And so I don't even know what they tasted like. But so I offered her that apple, and she's like, yeah. And I also gave her some grapes. And so I was doing my thing, eating, and she was looking at her phone. And anyway, we ended up getting like a conversation going, because we were sitting there, because a man came through, and then we ended up talking about different things. And it's funny how God, when you are really connected with the universe, is, without me knowing, I do this with different people, is I will say something and they're like, wow, that's kind of weird that you said that, because, it is no coincidence and no accidents that I happened to say something that they were dealing with yesterday. Or I say something and, like I told a man not too long ago how I was praying that the universe would help me out because I needed gas money. And find out, I didn't know, but he was praying for help because he was asking God to help him out in his situation. So it is really beautiful when these things happen, is when, you're in touch with the universe, that, God actually will give the people that you need, or, put people in your path so they can help you out, or they can help you, you can help them out, or they can help you out, either way. So it is so beautiful how many times this has happened on my journey here, throughout my life. And I know you guys are probably thinking, yeah, I've experienced stuff like that in my life, where, I talk about something and they're like, wow, that's something. Or, so since I don't know if I would have to look at the word sinister, but it's, it even happens when, a song will come on, and there would be a song on the radio, and you're going through exactly what they're singing about. It could be a love song, and that's exactly how you feel about somebody. It could be all kinds of, different songs that play on the radio, and you're like, wow, or it is beautiful, how this happens. Synchronicities, I don't know how to word it, but I don't have it in front of me. I'm very visual when it comes to word. But so those things do happen, even like with numbers, repeated numbers will, pop, and then I read it and I'm like, yes, I needed that message right now, because it's, the universe knows that's exactly what I'm going through. That's what I need to work on. Sometimes I get messages that says a lot of times I get messages with numbers, repeated numbers, or numbers that stand out, is you're on the right track. So I've been getting that repeatedly in the area. I've been getting repeated numbers over and over again in this area, like 888, 222, 555, 333. Those numbers have been like today, 888, 222, 333, 555. And then 1111 I've been receiving a lot. So those are the way those numbers are the way the universe uses the archangels to get your attention, to get you messages. And I met a group of people yesterday, like 5 young people, like my kids' age, and they were running around bare feet, a whole, like that, group, most of them were. And it's like, and then the one girl had the same necklace I had, 3 sevens on it. So I was drawn to go right with that group and find out, hey, what are you guys into? Because, barefoot, 777, just lined up with my life. And Starlight is not shy. Here, I didn't feel outnumbered at all to talk to. It was like 2 girls and 3 guys. And it didn't even faze me. I just like went there and talked to them for a little bit, and then, found out one of the ladies there, she has a YouTube channel helping people out with fitness and stuff like that, which I have to check that channel out. So this is beautiful. It was no accident I said, isn't this beautiful how it's my first time going to that hiking trail. The group of young men and women, they go to that hiking trail all the time. It's my first time, and to catch them running around barefoot. So we had a lot in common, everything I was saying, they're like, yeah. So it was no accident to go at that place at that particular time, because when I seen the small group of men and women, they were just coming down the hill barefoot, and Starlight wasn't walking barefoot at this time, because I don't really go on hiking trails to do that unless I really know my way around and been there enough. And it was kind of a little muddy here and there on where I came through, so my feet would have been muddy by the time I would have got to them. So it was really beautiful how they just were coming down the hill, and we met right in that space and that time. It's no accident that this stuff happens. But anyway, I wanted to bring all of that because I know you guys and girls experience different things like that, where you might have been the person that needed help, and then God just like put somebody right there, right when you needed it. So this is what Starlight has been going through this whole time here. It has been a beautiful journey, and so the reason I'm making this video is because the lady that I did talk to, that we were talking, and I ended up saying something, and she said, "Oh, that is something," because I think I kind of let her know about my YouTube channel, and I didn't say that right away. I was just sitting there eating my sandwich, and something happened that kind of got me to actually say something about it. And I was saying about how a lot of people have a hard time, being themselves. That most people, we all are wearing a mask in some form. There's layers and layers of mask. So, it's the more you find out who you are and spend time with yourself and work on your flaws and get healed, and when you learn to let go of things, that's when you're able to let go of different like versions of yourself that you thought was you, and it's a way that God actually helps to get to the core of the real true you. So I do know people right now where I thought I knew them, I thought, wow, but then I realized they were wearing a mask, because of what they were going through. So and anyway, with that is that as I was talking to this mom, is she has a daughter, and it just like the things that I talked to her about, she's like, oh yeah, like my daughter, and her daughter just turned 13, and she brought up some things about her daughter, where her daughter is having a hard time accepting who she is, and where she can't leave the house without putting makeup on, so that, and it's very tough for kids to be in school and be with the kids in public schools. But it doesn't even matter. You could be in public school, or there's some churches out there, even like Catholic churches, where they have school there, or other church organizations out there that have schooling for kids. Just because it's a church that's having school for your kids, you read the newspapers, you watch TV, right? I get ads on my freaking phone about like the Mormons, where they have, they're getting these people that had, sexually been messed with when they were kids at the churches. So just because your kids are at a church, it does not mean that they are safe. Just because they're with your family, it does not mean that they are safe. So anyway, now I'm just talking about like people not being themselves and not being real, but now I'm going to turn this around a little bit to the real reason why I'm making this video is this lady was, it was beautiful, and that's why I asked her. I said, hey, that is beautiful what you just shared with me, and could I use that and put that on my a video for my YouTube channel? And she said yes, and she actually sent that I don't know if it's called a link or whatever, but she sent it to my number, so I can put that on this video so you can see it yourself. And I really don't know any of you, and this is for people that are parents, but have you, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think there's any perfect parents out there in the world? I hear a lot of no's. Not my nose, but I hear a lot of no's. No, 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 no. There's not one perfect parent. So with this lady, it was her daughter's birthday, and for her birthday, she was just letting her daughter know is, I am sorry, because the mom wasn't a perfect mom. And a lot of parents know this. But do you ever tell your kids, I'm sorry I did that to you. I did that to you. I'm sorry this happened to you because I wasn't grown up enough. And that's how this whole thing was happening with this lady, because we were talking from one topic to another about, you know, the more you grow, the more you can let go of those masks. You know, so the mom, you know, is actually going out and helping other people that have drug addiction or alcohol addiction. So great for her. That's an awesome thing for her to do. People need that. People need people like her. But have you, I know you messed up here and there with bringing up your kids from the time that it could even happen, because this is how it happens. It could have happened before your child was even born. You're like, Starlight, how is that possible? Oh yeah, it could happen before your child was born, that parents already was a bad parent. Because how many parents out in the world actually was doing drugs and alcohol? You know, they were in who knows what kind of relationships, and that's why it's so important not to, you know, be so quick to just jump with any guy or girl and just to have a baby, you know, because, you know, there's people, how does Starlight know this shit? There's people that will get together with a guy and a girl, and, you know, they might not have been even talking about whether they're going to have a baby or not. And, you know, men and women could be guilty of this, where they don't want to get pregnant, they don't want to have a baby, guy or the girl, even though the girl is the one that's going to carry the baby, is that they'll purposely get her pregnant, or she will purposely, you know, I can't say that it's just the female's job to make sure you're protected so you don't get diseases or pregnancy, you know, get pregnant. It's also, it's both. It's the man's job and the female's job to make sure she's not getting pregnant, whether she's taken, you know, not all women want to take birth control or do drugs, any kind of medications to nowadays, who knows what the heck they got going on for, you know, so you don't get pregnant. And you got to be careful of those things out there that they do have. Make sure you do your research on what those things really do, and will it affect you later on from having babies. So, you know, so people will have babies one way or another, and they were too young, or it might not even have anything with too young. They might have been doing things later on, you know, in life, and were partying and drugs and alcohol, where they were abusing their child, or even smoking cigarettes, you know. So I'm not sure, you know, about marijuana. So what kind of effect that can have on babies. So I'm not going to even touch that topic, but no matter what, is like when a mother is having that child, you know, before it was born, is abuse starts there. So that's when the abuse starts, is right at that moment there, when she's eating, and is she eating right? Is she nurturing that baby by the things that she's intaken, or is she not being wise and taking alcohol and drugs or whatever? So so after the baby is born, you know, there's so many things that parents can do wrong with their children. Well, number one is not being there, you know, neglecting your children, you know, maybe not being ready to be a mom and be in a family, like with a husband or, you know, a boyfriend or whatever, and where, you know, you are in your partying stage. You might have did good and not drink during pregnancy, but man, when that child was born, bam, the partying came back out. Say, oh yeah, you know, my responsibility is over with now because the baby is out. No, it isn't. Your responsibility isn't over yet. you know? So they go into partying and they think that they're doing the right thing. They think they're doing the kid a favor by, hey, I didn't drink and smoke when you were in my belly. But now they want to party after the baby is born. So, and what happens? Somebody's got to babysit the kids because they're partying now. And they're so much into the party and they don't even care where the child goes. And shit happens. Lots of kids go through that hell. So have you ever told your kids, I'm sorry I wasn't there? I'm sorry because kids end up thinking by looking up to the parents that the parents got all their shit together, especially when they're younger. They don't know any better. And the more they learn in school, now the school system is teaching kids a lot more than what they did when I was a kid, about abuse. I just heard a little boy the other day. I only heard his voice and I could tell he was a little kid. And he was talking about his mother verbally abusing him. And I'm thinking, where did that child get that? I didn't know anything about verbal abuse until later on in my life, So it's like, wow, who's educating that child about verbal abuse? And then I heard the parents go back and forth like, oh, you're over exaggerating, So have you ever said sorry? I have. You bring my two kids right here, right now, and you ask them that question. Oh yeah. Starlight has told her kids many times about sorry, because I know I wasn't a perfect mom. I tried to bring my kids to a church, and it ended up being a cult church. It really destroyed everything that I was building in that time with my kids. And my kids suffered, and my kids, they went through hell, and they should never have gone through hell. It's not like I really did a wrong thing. I didn't know what I was getting. I didn't really see this. I mean, I did in a way, but that my kids went through hell at this church by the pastor and the whole congregation, most of them. My daughter was being attacked, in the church by adults. So it tore me apart what my kids went through. You bet your freaking ass I told my kids sorry in tears. I want my kids to know that, hey, I'm sorry about this or about that, I'm sorry that I didn't have a daddy for you. You had a dad, but where were they? They weren't anywhere, I have no regrets with my beautiful kids. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. It's just that they are they are beautiful no matter what they're going through. So, you gotta lighten up on your kids and let them know that, what? They need to hear that you're sorry for whatever they went through that was not right. You might have abused your kids when they were younger. Has Starlight? Yes, I have. Because the church taught me that. I was brought up like that, So was it easy, to say, no, absolutely not. But you know what? They're better off hearing me say that I'm sorry. And Starlight never wanted to do any of that stuff, what the church taught me. I cried. My kids saw me fall apart because I was being programmed to do that to my kids. That screws kids up big time when they're being abused, So take some time. It doesn't matter how old your kids are, even if they're adults. If you didn't do it while they're growing up, like this mom here, 13 years old, her daughter is, she's saying, hey, I am sorry, because that does damage the kids. The 13-year-old girl is in therapy. So, if you're a mom or a dad too. This is not just dad. I mean, this is not just about moms, dads too. It's not just about the mother because she carried the child. It's about dads that created, that baby didn't get there on her, on the mom's own unless she went to the hospital, or in Aliens like Starlight, But, the men need to get right with the children. The children need to hear, I am sorry. I'm sorry I did this to you. They need the apology. They need to know that, you know what, I'm not perfect. They need to hear that. They need to see the tears. They need to see the expressions on your face. They need to know when you're saying it that you're being real, like I did with my kids. Not enough parents do this shit to their kids, to say I'm sorry. They want to act like they're so freaking perfect when the kids see it. You can't fool the kids. You can fool them. You can fool them when they're younger. But when they get older and they start putting words together and sentences together, learning about storytelling time and opinions, truth and facts and lies, you bet your ass they're going to find out some shit on you. What have you done to them? Did they ever deserve it? Absolutely not. And you went through stuff. Did your parents ever tell you you were sorry? My parents never said freaking shit about being sorry. How does that make me feel as an adult? Quite crappy. So parents need to apologize to their kids. It's never too late to say it. There's kids out there that are trying to kill themselves because of the crap that they went through as children. So I love you so much, but those children, a lot of them go through freaking hell one way or another, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical, some kids go through all of it. They go through the verbal abuse, they go through this, physical abuse, sexual abuse, they go through so much in one family. So, tell your kids and explain, you know what? I was too young. I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't go get help like I should have. What I did to you was wrong. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for how I brought you up and that I wasn't perfect. Please forgive me that, I wasn't there. I kept on dropping you off and letting other people babysit you. I'm sorry that I wasn't always there when you needed me the most. Because those kids, neglect. When you neglect your kids, a whole lot of shit happens when that happens. It does so much damage to them as kids, and it will carry that through that child all the way up until, all their life. It affects them in such a horrible way. It affects their relationships. It affects them on finding out who they are. It affects them, to open up, to express themselves, to use their voice. There's some people that are affected that they, because of what happened when they were kids, they have a hard time getting intimate with a man or a woman. So really take some time, and to let your kids know, don't act like you were perfect and, that they don't need to hear you're wrong. They absolutely need to hear that you were not perfect and that you did mess up in different areas. They need to hear that. They need an apology, because I know how I am. It doesn't actually make everything better in some ways, because the pain and the scars and all that's still there, but just hearing those words will help in some way to say, okay, you know, and you can educate your kids why it's so important to be cautious and be careful about having their babies and making sure they are ready and prepared to have a baby so they don't do the same thing to their children. So that's what they need. They need to know, you know, like, hey, I messed up and I'm telling you this. So, you know, I want to let you know that, you know, you're 13 years old. They're already they're definitely interested in boys and girls at that age, you know. So, you know, and putting makeup on at 13 years old, you know, that's speeding up the process here as adulthood. So, you know, it really does. Don't let your kids be in such a rush to grow up. I tried to wear makeup when I was home, being a kid, and I got called a whore, you know, that I was some kind of slut for wearing makeup. So Starlight tried to wear makeup, but and it wasn't my mom, but, you know, that didn't last very long. So I don't wear makeup today. I have wore makeup in the past, but you know, you want your children, they are so quick to, you know, parents want to get them rushing to grow up so they get out of the house. Don't do that to your children. Don't rush them to grow up, because they're gonna do that on their own, you know, is to let them, you know, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. But if they're in public school, they're more than likely not enjoying the journey. Most families, especially if they came from any poor family, different kinds of families go through a lot in school systems. So anyway, this is a long video. It is so important is to really apologize to your kids. There's adults that have their own kids that could use a I am sorry. If you're an adult that you're like my age or even older, you know, have a heart-to-heart with your kids, your adult kids. It doesn't have to just be the little ones. They need to hear this. That's how they're going to heal, is by hearing those words. And it will help you out in the process, saying, you know what, I got that. You know, I've been holding that. Some parents, it's wicked. They won't even admit that they did anything wrong. I know people like that. They won't even admit to nothing. In their eyes, they were perfect. In their eyes, they were always there, but they were never there. So, and that definitely affects those children when, you know, the parents don't, you know, the children grow up and they're like, Mom, I remember this happened. No, you don't. That was your imagination. Mom, why did this happen? Oh, that didn't happen. You know, don't do that to your kids. They know. You can't fool them. You can't, you know, lie to them and deceive them and thinking it was their imagination that they created all that shit when they know it was real. So anyway, yes, say sorry. They need it. So anyway, I love you. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And don't forget the notification bell. Don't forget to push it. And you can also share these videos with your family, your friends, your children. Of course, there's some freaking words in there, you know. But they really do need to hear the truth. And besides sharing with your family members, you can also share my videos with a cat and a dog, because there's so many beautiful animals out there. And also you could check out my playlist. Plus you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingwood Starlight. I love you all. If you're a parent, I know you messed up somewhere. There's absolutely no parent that's out there perfect. They all messed up one way or another. So don't be one of those parents that said, I never messed up with my kids. I did everything right. Absolutely not. There is not one out there. Not at all. Nobody can convince me that they never did anything wrong to their child. You know, so anyway, because it's imperfect people that are bringing up children, they're imperfect, you know, imperfections, you know, trying to bring up a child. So admit to your flaws, you know, and you know, it would help you out to get healed yourself, because then you can let go of the guilt when they forgive you for what you've done. There's a lot of families that don't want shit to do with their families because of the abuse and hell that they went through. And they don't even want nothing to do with God because of the abuse and hell that they've gone through as children. So anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.